गिरि गोवर्धन गिरि गोवर्धन गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय निताय चैतन्य चंद्र निताय चैतन्य चंद्र गौर हरे जय निताय गौरचंद्र निताय गौरचंद्र गौर हरे जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल
ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम राधा कृष्ण श्री गिरिवर्धन की जय। मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथ धाम की जय। गंगा मैया की जय, यमुना मैया की जय, भक्ति शिरोमणि तुलसी महारानी की जय। प्रभुपाद हरे कृष्ण दाम कृष्ण की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे all glories to something devotees, all glories to something devotees, all glories to something, all glories to the way to Ram Krishna Prabhu की जय।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीर वनचारी यमुना तीर वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी बिहारी विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राज जगाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की ताय गौर प्रेमानंदी. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayarmudhiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Speaking from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 51, Text 44. This chapter is entitled The Deliverance of Muchukunda. Shri Sukha Uvacha Iti Uktas Tam Pranamyaha Iti Uktas Tam Pranamyaha Muchukundo Mudanvitaha Muchukundo Mudanvitaha Gyatva Narayanam Devam Gyatva Narayanam Devam Gargavakyam Anusmaran गर्गवाक्यम अनुस्मरन् श्रीशुक उवाच इति उक्तस्तं प्रणम्याह इति उक्तस्तं प्रणम्याह मुच्चुकुण्डो मुदान्वितः यात्वा नारायणं देवं गर्गवाक्यम् अनुस्मरन् श्रीशुक उवाच इति उक्तस्तं प्रणम्याह मुच्चुकुण्डो मुदान्वितः यात्वा नारायणं देवं गर्गवाक्यम् अनुस्मरन् श्रीशुक उवाच इति उक्तस्तं प्रणम्याह मुच्चुकुण्डो मुदान्वितः यात्वा नारायणं देवं गर्गवाक्यम् अनुस्मरन् श्रीशुक उवाच इति उक्तस्तं प्रणम्याह मुच्चुकुण्डो मुदान्वितः ज्ञात्वा नारायणं देवं गर्गवाक्यम् अनुस्मरन् श्रीशुक उवाच इति उक्तस्तं प्रणम्याह मुच्चुकुण्डो मुदान्वितः ज्ञात्वा नारायणं देवं गर्गवाक्यम् अनुस्मरन् श्रीशुक उवाच इति उक्तस्तं प्रणम्याह मुच्चुकुण्डो मुदान्वितः यात्वा नारायणं देवं गर्गवाक्यम् अनुस्मरन् श्रीशुक उवाच इति उक्तस्तं प्रणम्याह मुच्चुकुण्डो मुदान्वितः यात्वा नारायणं देवं गर्गवाक्यम् अनुस्मरन् श्रीशुक उवाच इति उक्तस्तं प्रणम्याह मुच्चुकुण्डो मुदान्वितः यात्वा नारायणं देवं गर्गवाक्यम् अनुस्मरन् श्रीशुक उवाच श्रीशुक उवाच Sukadev Goswami said, Iti, thus, Uktaha, addressed, Tam, to him, Pranamya, after bowing down, Aha, said, Muchukundaha, Muchukunda, Muda, with joy, Anvitaha, filled, Yatva, knowing him to be Narayanam Devam, Narayana, the Supreme Lord, Gargavakyam, the words of the sage Garga, Anusmaran, remembering. Sukadev Goswami said, Muchukunda bowed down to the Lord when he heard this. Remembering the words of the sage Garga, he joyfully recognized Krishna to be the Supreme Lord Narayan. The king then addressed him as follows. Kindly repeat after me. Sukadev Goswami said, Muchukunda bowed down to the Lord when he heard this, remembering the words of the sage Garga. He joyfully recognized Krishna to be the Supreme Lord Narayana. The king then addressed him as follows. Purport by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Although the Lord here appears as four-handed Narayana, we may say that Muchukunda was addressing Sri Krishna. All of this is taking place within the context of Krishna Leela, the pastimes of Lord Krishna. It is well known to Vaishnavas that the four-handed forms of Vishnu or Narayana are expansions of Sri Krishna. Thus, within the pastimes of Lord Krishna, there may also appear Vishnu Leela, the activities of Vishnu. Such are the qualities and activities of the Supreme Godhead. Deeds that for us would be extraordinary and even impossible are commonplace, effortless pastimes for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Sridhar Swami informs us that Muchukunda was aware of the prediction of the ancient sage Garga, that in the 28th millennium, Supreme Lord would descend. According to Acharya Vishwanath, Garga Muni further informed Muchukunda that he would personally see the Lord. Now it was all happening. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Tamal Krishna Goswami Niti Namine. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gauru Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Sukadev Goswami said, Muchukunda bowed down to the Lord when he heard this. Remembering the words of the sage Garga, he joyfully recognized Krishna to be the Supreme Lord Narayana. The king then addressed him as follows. So this is the pastime of the deliverance of Muchukunda in the cave. The very audacious demon, what's his name? Kalayavana, yes. So he thought that Krishna was his equal and he wanted somebody to combat with, being a very accompanying with huge military strength. He approached Krishna and Krishna built a fort because Jarasandha was also at the same time planning to attack. So Krishna, he was playing the part of an ordinary king. If you look at it, I mean, he was very concerned of who they're going to attack our kingdom as citizens. He looks like, if you look at it, that's how some ordinary king will think. I need to protect my kingdom, I need to protect my people, I need to protect my property. So Krishna built a fort, a beautiful fortress with amazing opulence in there. And then asking Balaram to be in charge, he walked out of this fortress without any, eventually you will see later on, he will walk out without any weapons. Like then the soldiers see Krishna walking through them, and Krishna was like, he didn't even pay attention to Kalayaman. So this is the opulence of the Lord. He can do things immediately. The military is surrounding him, and he already constructed this fort. And this was like a very, very immaculate, very beautiful fortress, which is Dwarka. And archaeologically it's been established that there was an ancient city which eventually became submerged in the water. Scientists have uncovered, archaeologists, and they found there was a huge city there. So this is not, people may think, oh, this is all mythology, this is all the creation of some fertile author. No, there is actually historical proof. There's physical proof. So Muchukunda got the blessings from his previous life, from the sage Garga, that he would meet the Lord. And Muchukunda was a very powerful warrior, like, you know, he was actually protecting the demigods from the onslaughts of the demon. And he did it completely disregarding his own personal well-being. He didn't sleep, he fought continuously. This is also similar to Kartikeya fighting in the battle against Lord Krishna, and then getting very exhausted and leaving the battlefield. So like this, so tiredness overcame him, and Prabhupada says in the Krishna book that they found Kartikeya to replace him. He's also said here, and Kartikeya, Prabhupada says Kartikeya gives him the benediction. Here we don't see Kartikeya mentioned as giving him the benediction that actually he can leave and he will now be the commander-in-chief and fight for the demigods. And he also got the blessing that, he asked for the blessing that anybody who interrupts my sleep will be burned to ashes upon my sight. So Krishna was amazing. He did two things at one time. He wanted to benedict Muchukunda. At the same time, without even killing Kalayaman, he was killed. Not by Krishna, by Muchukunda. So Krishna accomplished both things at the same time. So it's very typical. Krishna does wonderful things. Krishna can achieve many things with one action, right? By killing the demons, he brings the affection of the Brajavasis much closer to him. I mean, at the same time the demons are killed. And then so many other benedictions come from that. So really Krishna is the master of multitasking, if you think about it. You know, we all like to multitask, but it looks like Krishna does one thing, but all other tasks are achieved at the same time, whereas we have to individually multitask. By the way, so nowadays modern, what do you call that? What field is that? They say that multitasking really is not as effective as serial tasking, because multitasking, your attention splayed out in so many things, and your effectiveness on every one of those things are not significant. Whereas if you do things and accomplish them and move on to the next thing, you're much more effective. That's the latest opinion. But some people are giftedly multitasked. I mean, they can do it without, very rare. If you really look at it, some people can really multitask. But Krishna, he just needs to do one thing and all the other things are accomplished. Here's an important thing. Even though Muchukunda saw the four-handed Narayan, he's saying that he was addressing Lord Narayan as Krishna. So similarly, you see that in Krishna Leela, because this is right in the middle of Krishna Leela, right? Even when Krishna appeared to Mother Devaki, he appeared in his four-armed first. In the Bhagavad Gita, we find also that Krishna displaying his four-armed form to Arjuna. And then Arjuna says, I want to see your two-armed, captivating, saumya. I think he uses the word, so pleasing. Krishna appears. So it is a fact that Krishna's two-armed form is the most pleasing form. And even more than that, Prabhupada makes a comment in Krishna book. He said Krishna is not particularly attractive when he is alone. I mean, Prabhupada makes this statement. He said Krishna is not particularly attractive. He's attractive, but he's not particularly attractive when he is alone. But when he is with the damsels of Vrindavan, then he is unlimitedly attractive. So here Lord Narayan, of course, Lord Narayan is wonderfully attractive, but the Acharyas have commented that the two-armed form of Krishna is the most beautiful form of Krishna. So therefore, you'll see all in Vrindavan pastimes, Krishna could have manifested 1,000,000 arms if he wanted, but it wouldn't be very attractive. Imagine if somebody walks in with 1,000,000 arms. You think it would be very attractive? It won't be attractive. So therefore, people mistake Krishna to be a human because he has got two-armed form. So Lord Narayan, nobody could mistake Lord Narayan for a human, right? Why is that? Because he's got 4 arms. But Krishna, people can easily mistake. Therefore, in the Mahabharata, people mistook Krishna for an ordinary person. But if Krishna was walking around with 4-armed form, I'm sure Duryodhan and Dushashan would be very, very respectful. But that is Krishna's Leela, that he wanted to be just among his devotees, taking away any awe, taking away any reverence. So therefore, Krishna just wandered about in Dwarka, in Vrindavan as 2-armed form. But here he appeared in front of Muchukunda as a 4-armed form, exquisitely beautiful and immaculately dressed and very captivating to look at. So it is well known to Vaishnavas that the 4-handed forms of Vishnu are Narayana expansions of Sri Krishna. Thus, within the pastimes of Lord Krishna, there may also appear Vishnu Leela, the activities of Vishnu. Such are the qualities and activities of the Supreme Godhead. Deeds that for us would be extraordinary and even impossible are commonplace, effortless pastimes for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, here the commentary says that what is impossible or practically very difficult for us are commonplace for Krishna, right? Like the Brahma Samhita says, Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti pasyanti panti kalayanti chirang jaganti. So Krishna can eat with his eyes, right? Krishna can bless you with just looking at you. Krishna can hear if he wants with his hands, right? So Krishna can do anything. All his senses are fully competent to do the activities of every other sense. But Krishna, in the midst of his devotees, chooses to do what every sense is supposed to do. Right? When Mother Yashoda feeds Krishna, he doesn't just look at it and be satisfied. He wants the food to be fed by Mother Yashoda into his mouth. So Krishna's seemingly ordinary activities becomes greatly mistaken by even the greatest of scholars. Right? What is the verse in the Brahma Samhita? Advaitam achyutam anadi manantarupam adyam purana purusham navayavvanam cha vedeshu durlabam. So for those who have mastered the Vedas, vedeshu, that means those who have conquered so-called the Vedas, or the masters of the Vedas, vedeshu durlabam. For those people, you're very difficult to attain Krishna. But adurlabam atma bhakto. For those who are your atma bhakto, that means your very own devotees. Atma, not just bhakto, he says your very own devotees. Atma bhakto, that means those who are very, very close to you. For those people, it's very easy to attain you. Vedeshu durlabam adurlabam atma bhakto govindam adipurusham tamaham bhajami. So, Krishna benedicts his devotees. Here, this crazy Kalayamana was chasing Krishna and insulting him. Oh, you are just a coward. You know, I thought you were the head of the Yadavas, and I've heard about his prowess. I've heard about your prowess. Why are you running away? I mean, face me like a man and fight me. And he was insulting Krishna like this. But Krishna was like, well, I have to deliver Muchukunda. I have to honor the words of Garga Rishi. So let me go there. And he was like, Kalayama was chasing Krishna. I was like, Krishna was just walking, but Kalayama was chasing, and he thinks, oh, here Krishna is, here Krishna. I'm going to grab hold of Krishna. But each time he got close, Krishna got further. So the meaning of that is because he was so sinful, he was so contaminated, he could never approach Krishna, let alone touch him. Approach in the sense that get close to Krishna. So the meaning is, as long as we are contaminated in consciousness, we can never approach Krishna. Right? The Bhagavad Gita, what's the famous verse in the Bhagavad Gita? The two verses. One is Parabrahma Paramdama Pavitram. Krishna is the supremely pure. Then there's another verse which says, I can't remember. It says, those whose sinful activities are not eradicated can never understand Krishna. So this process of bhakti yoga, this sadhana bhakti, is where ultimately leads us to anartha nibriti. Anartha means, artha means that which has got value, anartha means those which has got no value, meaning things which are unwanted in our heart, that which is preventing us from approaching Krishna. So until that anartha nibriti happens, we cannot understand Krishna, even begin to understand Krishna. So it's a very important point. We can read Prabhupada books, but if we are immersed in activities which are counterproductive to devotional service, then we can never begin to understand Krishna, his qualities. We will lack the intelligence to understand it. We will lack the intelligence to understand it. And we will also ultimately lack the heart to feel it. You can understand with intelligence, but in order to feel something, you need to have the right heart to feel something. Feeling is a function of the heart. Thinking and analyzing is the function of the intelligence. So therefore, we have to eventually also get out of the intellectual platform and come to the platform of feeling for Krishna. So, devotional service is a function of the heart. Ultimately, pure devotional service is not a mental function, it's not an intellectual function, but it's a function of the heart. And our hearts are so contaminated, we don't even know, because we can't see our heart. When we look at in the mirror, we see our physical self. I mean, I'm not talking about the physical heart. When we say the heart, means our consciousness, chitta. Okay, it's called chitta, it's sometimes called atma. So, what is the consciousness of our heart? Just like this lady, this old lady in Jagannath Puri, when Mahaprabhu was looking at Lord Jagannath, I think it was during the Rath Yatra, right? Maybe it was in the temple room, I can't remember. When Mahaprabhu was taking darshan. So this old lady, she couldn't get darshan of Lord Jagannath because everybody was taller than her. Then she actually managed to climb over Lord Chaitanya's shoulder. Standing on Lord Chaitanya's shoulder, she took darshan of Lord Jagannath. And all the devotees of Mahaprabhu, they say, "Oh lady, oh you foolish lady, what are you doing? Get down immediately." But Lord Chaitanya said, "No, I wish I had her eagerness to see Lord Jagannath. Why are you stopping her?" So we should develop such eagerness to see Krishna, to hear about Krishna, and this is part of spontaneous devotional service. Okay, when within sadhana bhakti, there's also raganuga bhakti. Raganuga bhakti is when you don't wake up in the morning thinking, "Oh, I have to chant my rounds, I've got to do my service, oh man." When you wake up in the morning, you think, "Wow, I need to chant." Wow, you can't. You look forward to your coming to the temple. Look forward to chanting Krishna's name. You look forward. It's no more a duty. It's no more a encumbrance. Or I've got to go to work. Man. Let me put this off chanting later. When I come back from work, I'll chant. So, whereas a Raganuga Bhakta, he would be like looking forward to his devotional service. So, Krishna can achieve impossible things with a single stroke, right? He can do everything. But we can also see sometimes great devotees can do that. Like we can see in the life of Prabhupada, by one action, he also achieved many other things. Because they are empowered by Krishna. Krishna Shakti Bina Nahi. That one, without being empowered by Krishna, one cannot spread Krishna consciousness. This is a very important thing. That Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had a very intense desire that this mission be spread all over the world. And but it didn't happen. Because his disciples, we cannot say that the disciples were not attached to Bhaktisiddhanta. They were very attached to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. But one thing they couldn't do was cooperate together. That Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he already foresaw, he told Srila Prabhupada, "Just watch, there will be fire in the mud." What does that mean? Means a physical fire? No, that means his whole mud will be destroyed because the fire of envy, the fire of non-cooperation will burn down. So, but Prabhupada tried very hard to work with his God brothers, but they practically made it impossible. Because immediately after Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, against his instruction, they appointed an acharya. Jai Shri Shri Radha Nilamada, Shri Shri Radha Vidya Guru Raj. Right? They appointed an acharya, which was not the will of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He said, all of you cooperate and push on this mission. He didn't formally establish like a GBC, but he said, all of you should work together and push on this mission. Because they thought maybe Guru Maharaj overlooked that detail. He didn't appoint an acharya. So, and after that, after his passing, they appointed one person who was the most scholarly among them, and said, okay, this person should, since he was very scholarly, he should lead the mud. But there were some others who were disagreeing with that opinion. And so eventually everything fell apart. The court cases started happening, and everything became spoiled. And Prabhupada was witnessing all this, and he was very disheartened. So he started preaching in his own way, and his whole life after that was meant to serve the instruction of his spiritual master. So we find that one who serves the instruction of the spiritual master becomes empowered. Because Guru Mukha Patma Vakya Chite Te Korya Aikya Arna Koriho Manias. So one who takes the instructions of the spiritual master as his life and soul, he is also executing Krishna's will, because the will of the spiritual master is also Krishna's will. So therefore all empowerment comes. So we find that, in the early days of ISKCON, when the devotees, all they cared about was to fulfill Prabhupada's instructions and to please him. Therefore, whatever they did, they became empowered. They were very young boys, young girls, 21, 22, like Mother Govinda Dasi the other day was saying. We didn't know anything, but all we were preoccupied was with to please Srila Prabhupada and to carry out his instructions. And they didn't have any training in Vedic culture, they didn't have any training in any kind of Vedic scholarship, any preaching. They just said, you know what, Prabhupada wants me to do this, I'll do my best to do this. And because they did that, they became very, very effective, very, very powerful in their preaching. It's unprecedented in Vaishnava history that a movement spread all over the world in 11 years, starting from a foreign land. Not in India. Prabhupada had one disciple in India, Acharya Prabhakar, his first disciple. I think Prabhupada initiated him in 1955 or something. And that was his only disciple. You can watch he talking about Srila Prabhupada in Prabhupada Memories by Siddhanta Prabhu. He said that when I met Swamiji, I was trying to find fault with him because I'm a businessman, and businessmen, we try to see the weakness in the other party and try to take advantage. But I couldn't see any fault in Swamiji. So I said, well, this person is worthy to become my guru. So 1955, one disciple, Acharya Prabhakar, His Prabhupada gave him the name. That means the son like Acharya. That means maybe he was thinking about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur when he gave them. Because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was also considered like the son among the Acharyas. So Acharya Prabhakar Das, his name was. So, and then after 10 years, after like 11 years, so 65, 66, I think 66 Prabhupada initiated his first disciples. Am I right? 66, I think, the first batch. And then it took on like wildfire, but in the early days was very, very difficult, right? You heard during Prabhupada's Vyasa Pujas, his senior disciples talking about the early days. It was very, very difficult. But Prabhupada kept to the program, kept to the instructions of the spiritual master, preached to the Western world. If you got money, print books. But Prabhupada didn't have money, but he still printed books. Right? If you had 40 rupees, what will you do when you come to America? What would you do if you had 40 rupees? You wouldn't spend a single cent of it, right? Yeah, so it was like $7 or something, $7 or $8. Yeah, so that's the thing. So we find that, I mean, I'm talking about that because Prabhupada also did many things with a single action. His single action was, he was dedicated to the mission of his spiritual master. He wanted to relieve the suffering of the living entities, and he wanted to give him the highest thing. And from that, and he worked very hard. He wasn't just sitting in his apartment and dreaming of all this. He had a very, very sound plan. So therefore, Prabhupada sometimes translates Bhakti Yoga and Buddhi Yoga as the same thing. When you use your intelligence to serve Krishna, it becomes Bhakti Yoga. So Prabhupada just always said, we have to tax our brains to serve Krishna. Coming to the temple and chanting and all this is very wonderful, but it doesn't involve taxing our brains. Do we tax our brains when we come to the temple, when we seeing the deities? We don't. But in the preaching mission, you have to tax your brains. Because society is continuously changing, right? Every time there's new thing coming out, and we have to think, how can we use our intelligence to counter all this wave of Maya which is constantly pounding on every living entity. So it takes tremendous intelligence. And we don't have the intelligence. We do not have the intelligence. But we should tax our little intelligence so Krishna gives us some real intelligence. If you don't tax your little intelligence, you'll become less intelligent, and less intelligent. So we have to tax our intelligence. So therefore, Prabhupada was always taxing his intelligence out to spread Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada will try something. If it doesn't work, okay, let's do it this way. And Prabhupada will try something and it works, okay, stick to the program. But we have a tendency to be too frivolous. We always keep changing, and because we are impatient also at the same time. So like that, it's amazing if you think about it. And of course, here's a very important point. There's some sampradayas, which are Vaishnava sampradayas, which are highly regarded. They will consider Lord Narayan as the supreme, the source of everything. Even Krishna is coming from Lord Narayan. But in our line, Krishna is the origin of everything. So And Prabhupada said these are details. I mean, we all ultimately want to serve Krishna. So sometimes people try to magnify these differences. Prabhupada said those sampradayas are bona fide. The great acharyas, Ramanujacharya, Vishnu Swami, Nimbarkar, they all are worshipable. So sometimes when we preach, we have to be conscious of that, especially according to the audience. There was some years back, one very great devotee in his class, out of enthusiasm, he said it would be nice if the Ramanujas chanted Hare Krishna, and there was a huge onslaught online just because of that comment. So in this day of internet, we also have to be careful. So what we say, but the truth should be spoken, but it should be spoken palatably. And we cannot imitate Prabhupada. Sometimes Prabhupada spoke, truths were not palatable but to many people, but Prabhupada spoke, but we cannot imitate. Right? So Prabhupada said, I'm an old man, I can say whatever I want and I get away with it. But Prabhupada was just being humble, but because Prabhupada was empowered by Krishna and he can say anything. Because whatever comes out of his mouth is Krishna's words, right? So like that. So Sri Sridhar Swami informs us that Muchukunda was aware of the prediction of the ancient sage Garga, that in the 28th millennium the Supreme Lord would descend. So Muchukunda was also aware that this was a fact. And according to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, Garga Muni further informed Muchukunda that he would personally see the Lord. So the Lord actually becomes bound by the word of his devotees. So when a devotee says something, Krishna said, oh, I have to uphold the word of my devotees. Very important point. So therefore, when the Guru gives you a blessing, Krishna says, oh, my pure devotee has blessed this devotee with such and such a benediction. So therefore, I have to make it happen. The other day, during Keshav Bharati Maharaj's Vyasa Puja, one of his disciples was here. His name was Ukti Tantra. Very nice name. You met Ukti Tantra? Ukti Tantra means Krishna who is subservient to his devotees. Krishna is actually subservient to his devotees. Krishna is driving the chariot for Arjuna. That's a subservient role. Krishna takes the slippers of Nanda Maharaj and puts it on his head and brings it to Father. So Krishna wants to be subservient to his pure devotees. So now Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, Kaunteya pratijanihi, Name Bhakta Pranashyati. He didn't say Name Bhakta Pranashyati. He says Kaunteya Pratijanihi Name Bhakta Pranashyati. He said, Arjuna, you go and boldly declare that my devotees shall never perish. So what does that mean? Krishna could have said, my devotees shall never perish. Why? Krishna is more intent on fulfilling the words of his devotees rather than his own words. People can say, Krishna said he will not carry any weapon, but he carried weapon in the battlefield. He broke his promise, so I cannot trust Krishna. Krishna also aware of people with that mentality. But the real intent is, Arjuna, if you tell it, I will honor it. I may tell something and I might break my words. But if you tell something, then I'm forced to honor your words. So such is the pact of love between Krishna and his devotees. And the devotees of Krishna are also bent on fulfilling the word of Krishna. They work very hard. to connect everybody to Krishna. So Muchukunda was such a devotee who was actually worked very hard without any consideration for his own welfare, for the safety of the demigods who are all devotees of Krishna. He worked so hard, therefore he was benedicted like that by Gargamuni. So we'll stop here. Any questions, any comments? Yes, Sarvabhauma Prabhu. So we have our Bhaktin back. You just came back from China? Nice to have you back. I'm sure you're happy to be back. Very good. Yes, Sarvabhauma Prabhu.
So Kalayavan got the darshan of Krishna, but he wasn't killed by Krishna. We know that Krishna kills demons, they get liberation or purified. My question is, if a demon like Kalayavan is killed by a devotee like Muchukunda was, there some benefit just by being killed by a devotee rather than by some other way?
Is there a benefit by being killed by a devotee? Is that the question?
There's definitely a benefit to be killed by Krishna.
Yes, definitely. In fact, when Krishna personally kills somebody, they say they don't get liberated. They get Krishna bhakti. Like in the case of Putana, she did that. She got that, and I think some other devotees also got benediction like that. But in the battlefield, because everybody saw Krishna, they got liberated, even though they were not killed by Krishna. They say just by seeing Krishna, they got liberated. Liberated in the sense that they didn't have to take birth again, but they were not guaranteed bhakti. But when Krishna personally killed Putana, because of her feelings toward Krishna, Krishna accepted, because she gave a milk to Krishna, Krishna accepted his mother. So now in the case of Muchukunda killing Kalayavan, I don't know if he had any kind of, because he was still he kicked Muchukunda in a very angry and envious manner. So I don't know what the fate of Kalayavan was. Even though he saw Krishna, but he was seeing Krishna in a very envious way. He was cursing at Krishna. So I don't know but you never know. Krishna is the most merciful. He could have, anybody have heard what happened to Kalayavan? What is his destination? I don't know.
We know that if lava mantras, you get even short association with it.
Yeah, short association in a proper spirit, not in an offensive spirit. Lava matra sadhu sangha, if you appreciate a devotee even momentarily, and you serve a devotee in lava matra means, technically I think is 1/11 of a second. So if you have nice feelings towards the devotees, if you serve a devotee even momentarily, it will give you all perfection. A devotee not an ordinary devotee, but when you said devotee means lavamatra sadhu sangha, that means a real sadhu. That means one who is totally in love with Krishna. You get benefit. So that's my minute understanding.
At least with Krishna, even if the demons are inimical, they get some benefit.
Yeah.
So it's another issue whether if they were killed by a devotee, if they would get a benefit or not.
Probably not, because Krishna makes sure that nobody is inimical to his devotees. Haristane aparade, Haristane aparade nahi tare harinam, yeah, Haristane aparade tare harinam, Tomastane aparade nahi paritran. So Narottam Das Thakur probably answers our question, that if you commit offenses to Krishna, the holy name shall deliver you. But if you commit an offense to the devotee, there's no deliverance. Definitely. But if a devotee, let's say, fights in a battle against another party, the other party is not envious but is fighting out of duty, then maybe that's a different matter. But if somebody is enviously, with bad feelings, trying to kill a devotee, definitely I don't think so there's any deliverance for that person. Like so let's say those soldiers were killed by Arjuna, I'm sure they have a better destination. Those who are not inimical and not like envious, who are fighting just because they are in a circumstance where they have to fight against Arjuna and get killed by Arjuna. So just like Bhishma, he had to fight against Arjuna out of a sense of duty. He had to fight against the Pandavas out of circumstantial situation. Of course, Bhishma was a pure devotee, he was a Mahajan. So that is something maybe we have to ask the Shastra Advisory Council. What happens to somebody who is killed by a devotee?
One other comment, I remember when Gunakai Maharaj was here, I'm pretty sure that the Charanamrita was placed at sometime on the table out there. He suggested we put it here because Prabhupada usually had it in the temple.
Yeah.
So you were saying use your intelligence, Krishna's tax your brain and so forth. So he was always thinking of what is proper, what would please Prabhupada.
Yes.
And even in his preaching, what worked in the 60s with the hippies wasn't working later, but he preached to the straight edge scene and he adapted new ways to preach.
Mm-hmm.
That was a very good example.
Yes. So, yeah, the devotees, Prabhupada's followers, they taxed their brains how to spread Krishna consciousness. They were not just, sitting on laurels. Like, there was an incident in Calcutta that Prabhupada came and all the devotees were in the temple. And Prabhupada asked, so how are all your preaching activities going on? And Prabhupada said, we wanted to become very fixed in the holy name, Prabhupada, so we increased our chanting. We chanting more than 16 rounds. We want to focus on Krishna's name. So that's why we are not doing as much book distribution as before. And Prabhupada got really furious. Prabhupada just, my Guru Maharaj was telling, Prabhupada slammed his hand on the desk. He said, my instruction to you is to go out and preach. Don't use the holy name as an excuse. So, sometimes we have a tendency, I'm very busy, studying the Bhagavatam. I've got no time to go and meet people and tell them about Krishna. Or I don't have this. But, so, sometimes we tax our brains so how we can become more lazy. That we very tax our brains. Right? But really we should tax our brains how to give Krishna to others. Yeah. Any other questions, comments, corrections?
Debo, question or comment? So you said that we should go out and preach, right? We should really go out. So His Grace...
we should go out and preach intelligently. Yeah, sometimes we can go out and preach, but we can do a disservice to the movement because of how we preach. So therefore, devotee first requirement is that he should be impeccable in his behavior. I'll cite an incident before. My daughter used to go to school here in Oak Forest. No, so there was this Jewish lady her daughter and my daughter in the same class. And then she asked my wife, well, what is this mark on your forehead? And my wife said, oh, we that's a spiritual symbol. So what religion? Oh, we are the Hare Krishnas. Oh, are you the people at the airport when once I gave $20 for a book, and this devotee, this person, he just didn't want to give me change. He said he didn't have any change, but I saw in his money bag he had a bunch of change. So that one action like that can taint somebody's impression of the movement. So they used to call it change-ups. That somebody, you give them a book which is $5, somebody gives you a $50 bill. Say, can I have the difference? I really don't have change, I'm sorry. They get the $50 and then they say, I don't have any change. So now the person who's given the $50, it is his task to take the $50 out of this. So that single act can really paint an impression of the entire society. So therefore, devotees, we have to be impeccable in our character. And when people see good character, their faith immediately increases in something. So go ahead, yeah. So we should go out and preach, yes.
So I was listening to a lecture by Rasikendra Prabhu. He was saying that, when we do strictly follow sadhana, we chant really, intensely and follow the rules, he said that automatically the overflow is that we want to go out and preach.
Yeah.
It's natural. You mentioned that, bro, some disciples were like saying they want to increase their rounds to stay in the temple. But going out is actually, and Prabhupada got really upset with that. So we have a Harinam coming up on September 29th.
Yes.
Discovery Green. Only 2 hours, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Please, everybody, come out. It's 2 hours of your life.
This month, 29th, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., Harinam at Discovery Green. So Vishal is saying, please, he's pleading with everybody to go for the Harinam. I think we should all go and be part of the Harinam. So yes, thank you.
And also we heard about Gunagari Maharaj and also Tamal Krishna Maharaj. When people went on Harinam, he liked them to dress nicely, and
yes,
when they danced, to try to dance in a
coordinated way.
Sort of, at least in a good way.
Yeah.
Just to expand on your point, there was a time in Dallas. Dallas had a big airport, one of the biggest in America, and the devotees kind of used different tactics to distribute books for some years there. So at a certain point the people in Dallas didn't like the Hare Krishna so much. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj slowed down the book distribution and built a beautiful restaurant. And he had the devotees participate in the Cotton Bowl Parade, which was, they had a big float with Radha and Krishna and flowers. And it was called the Texas Krishnas. And the people in Dallas started, the opinion of them started to improve about the Hare Krishnas, and started to be nice articles in the newspapers about the temple,
yeah,
the restaurant. And then he restarted book distribution at the Dallas airport. And the Dallas temple for a few years was one of the tops in America. But he told the devotees, don't distribute the books in a bad way. Do it in a very gentlemanly,
yeah,
nice way. And that was just like Krishna's rancher retreated from the battlefield. Sometimes in military arts, there's a time to attack and a time to regroup and rethink your strategy also.
Yeah. So Sarvabhauma Prabhu was saying is that in Dallas, one of the most prolific book distribution began the airports, but even slowly the devotees were doing things which were not favorable, and they were doing things in the name of book distribution. We were getting like a unfavorable reputation because of what devotees did, like change-ups and this and that. And so my spiritual master, he eventually told them to stop book distribution at the airports, because it was bringing us a very negative, giving us negative publicity. So he concentrated more on attracting people to the temple, having restaurants and tours. And book distribution was still going on, but not at the airports, which is eventually you can see. I personally seen when in the airport, when somebody sees a Hare Krishna dress, they'll immediately avoid them and go this way. So they don't want to deal with them, because they sometimes can be some devotees can be very, very aggressive. But I know a god sister, her name is Indranila. She was the most expert in book distribution. I mean, even if you had 10 Bhagavad Gitas in your house, you would still buy one Bhagavad Gita from her. The way, her gentleness, how she approached people. In fact, once she sold a painting to a blind man. She actually took the time to describe the painting to this blind man. Then the blind man became so enamored that she's taking this time to something I can't see, but she's creating an image in my mind how the painting is. And the blind man actually bought the painting from her. You see, a devotee's good behavior can go so far in changing somebody's heart. So it's very important that we have good behavior. We are honest, we are truthful, we are gentle, we are genuinely. Sometimes there's a tendency to attain results. We put the results in front of everything else, but that can hurt us. All right, any other questions, comments? Now we'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.